Welcome to Wetpixel Live. My name is Adam Hanlon. I'm the editor of Wetpixel, and we'd like to thank Aquatica for sponsoring this episode. Aquatica do a range of housings for a wide range of cameras, and also obviously do ports, accessories, arms, and a wide variety of other goods for underwater photographers. Please check them out at aquatica.ca. I'm joined today by regular contributor Alex Mustard. Morning, Alex.
Hey, Adam. Very nice to see you.
Good to see you too. Obviously there's been lots going on in the past few weeks, and one of the sort of major events that's happened has been the results of the Ocean Geographic Awards for 2021 have been announced. And I noticed when I was looking at the results, Alex, that you actually have you're a category owner. At least by name. So yes. I thought that'd be a good place to start, really. So how did you become a category owner of Ocean Geographic?
I think it happened, and then I was asked. I don't remember the full story. I think, and also it's changed the definition of the category. But but before that, I think that the Ocean Geographic competition is definitely one of the big ones in underwater photography. I'd say it's always there in the top 5 of the underwater photography competitions, and it's the results are always well worth looking at. And actually for me, particularly this year, it was a very pleasing set of results. It's not a competition I enter, obviously, because I judge one of the categories, but actually a lot of pictures taken by friends of both of ours, but were awarded in the picture. And I think I posted on social media that I think a dozen pictures that were awarded in this competition were taken on my workshops, which I was really proud of. And they were taken by lots of different photographers. So that was really, really great to see so many friends and people who I know well doing so well in this big international contest. Yep. So yeah, lots of success to get excited about. The category I'm involved with is for encouraging emerging photographers, so newcomers, which is something I've always felt really, really strongly about, and it's actually often one of the more exciting categories in any competition, because you see that new talent, and it's often a little bit raw. There may be a few rough edges, but you often see things really pushing the boundaries forward. The way that I judge my category in this competition, and I presume all these categories are judged because they're all sort of attributed to well-known photographers, is that the competition organizers do all the prejudging, and a small selection of finalists are sent to me to pick my favorite entries from, and to put those in order and pick my winner and pick the honourable mentions and all that sort of thing from them. Yep. So it's a relatively light judging process, but certainly within my category, it's solely my responsibility, and I presume it's the same in all the others. So if you win in one of the named photographer categories, that photographer whose name the category is named after has had your pictures, and only them have been there to choose them and put them in order, which I think is really quite unique. And quite a fun thing, you know exactly who's rated your stuff. And I think in this age where, the main way we sort of see our pictures judged is on social media, and the reaction they get has, much more to do with how many followers you've got, the time of day you post it, etc., etc. It's actually really nice to still have competitions where you know exactly who judged it, who put them in order. And I think that's really exciting. So I like that aspect of the competition a lot. And should we have a look at some of the winning pictures?
I was just going to mention there are 17 categories, each of whom has a named celebrity judge, if I can call you that.
I think that's the right term.
And obviously there are categories in a wide variety of photographic styles and techniques,
I guess there's so many categories because you don't want to offend anyone by not having a category named after them.
That's right.
You think, oh gosh, if I've named one after this person, this other person's going to be jealous they haven't got a category. Or the cynical would say that the more categories you have, the more people to enter because they think they have more of a chance of winning something.
I wonder what happens after. I wonder if you can get a posthumous category. I'm not sure what the story there would be. That's going to be.
No, I think there is actually, because I think the black and white category is named for Ernie Brooks.
Yeah,
so which is and was when he was alive too. So
yes, of course,
yeah.
Yeah. So so we've I guess the short answer: 17 categories. Obviously, there's a lot of wonderful imagery in there, and they're all competition winners. But Alex and I have kind of winnowed it down to a few that we thought we'd like to talk about. Um, and I think the first one probably is the David Doubilet Award, which is an award for a portfolio of images, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say that the majority of photographers see this as the top prize within this competition. There aren't so many big portfolio prizes for underwater photographers where it's not just about getting that one good shot. It's about actually having strength in depth in your work. And I think the winners of this down the year, if you trace this back through time, there've been lots of very impressive winners of this particular award. So I think a lot of the biggest names maybe shoot for this one, but don't necessarily always enter all the other categories in the competition. So it's always a big one.
So the winner this year was Wayne Lai, who both of us know. And we've selected one image out of his portfolio. I think the portfolio is 6 images. I think that's right.
I think it might be up to 10. It might be 10 actually.
Okay. And this image is this classic kind of mono black and white image of a shark entering a bait ball. I'm not sure from this angle what type of shark it is, Alex. Can you tell?
I presume it's a bronze whaler in South Africa.
Looks like it. Looks like sardine run type picture, doesn't it?
Yeah. What I like about this is visually I like the cute turning of tables of here's the predator chasing the fish, but it actually looks a little bit like the fish are about to engulf the predator, and I think that just gives it a quirky gesture that makes it stand out as an image. But it was obviously one of the reasons we're just showing a few pictures in this is would really encourage you to dive in and look through all these pictures, particularly in this category. But big congratulations to Wayne, who dives a lot with me, and quite a lot of these pictures on this portfolio are taken on my trips. Not all, and not this particular one we've chosen to highlight. But great to see him do so well.
And I think the processing on it, obviously, this quite high key effect really draws attention to the contrast of both the bait ball and the shark. I think it works in silhouette. I think it works really well. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, I agree. It looks great. Yeah.
And then the overall winner of the competition was Noah Tucker with this picture. It's the picture of the competition. This picture, which is a swimming pool shot. I know a little bit about its making. It was produced while she was in lockdown, couldn't do anything else in a swimming pool they have a house in Turkey, and she borrowed one of the people that live locally's daughter, and that's the model, and produced this image. Yeah, I mean,
fantastic. I mean, Noor is another good friend of ours, and I'm so pleased for her to win. She does lots of trips with me, but I'm keen to stress this picture is not taken on one of my workshop trips, something she's done away from that. I think these swimming pool shots, they have this potential for people to absolutely fall in love with them, love the fact that you've controlled every element of the picture so well, that you've got a real interesting idea, vision behind the shot. And I think, this picture is one that, can have a real crossover effect and work very well for the public.
Yeah.
For me, it's not, I think actually some of Noor's natural history shots within this same competition that were awarded, I like more. I think she's got a couple of, fantastic, wildlife pictures awarded in this. The pool shot for me, it's an interesting concept. It's very well taken. It's very well put together, but it's these type of image doesn't appeal to me as much as others, but that's why you have different judges in competitions.
I should correct myself, actually. It's not the Picture of the Competition Award. Noor was awarded Master of the Competition, and she also was awarded the Public Choice Award for this image.
That makes a really good point, that the public vote went for this picture. So it shows how popular it is, and so that's not just one judge, that's winning the landslide majority of the public vote. Big congratulations to Noor. I was super happy for her. Because I know how hard she works at her photography. I know how creative she tries to be, how she's constantly challenging herself to push boundaries. This huge win is absolutely fantastic for her.
Yeah, she was up diving with me a couple of weeks ago, actually. So and we had very limited visibility, and we were still trying to do stuff. So there you go. But I mean, I think one of the other things about pool shots, obviously, is it does give you the option of these kind of creative opportunities that you can never really create in the wild. And she's really indulged it, hasn't she? She's really gone to town with it, and that's that's to be congratulated. She's got an idea, she's chased it down, she's got what she wanted to achieve. Yeah, brilliant. And so the competition award is by Justin Gilligan, and it's a clever shot, I think, of a reef that's bleached and then obviously has subsequently become algified, with a photographer, with a diver, sorry, showing a picture of the reef as it used to be in the frame. And I think it's the reef itself was on Australia's Great Barrier Reef. I mean, obviously it's designed to highlight the plight of corals globally, I suppose, not just in the Barrier Reefs. But again, I think it's a clever picture.
I really love this shot. I think it's very strong, really real favourite of mine. I think, from the whole competition, I really agree with it being, the picture of the competition. I think it's inventive. It's got a strong, clear environmental message. Lots of us have been interested in playing with this idea of, as we see, the marine environment get degraded around the world, of how can we tell that change in a single still image? Because you need that almost comparison of before and after. And it becomes very different. I think this is a really, really clever way of doing that. That's visually appealing, and I think works really, really well. I think one of the difficulties can be is it does take a slightly educated eye to spot the difference between a bleach. We see it straight away of a dead reef covered in algae, but to someone who's maybe not so familiar with corals, then maybe not so clear. But I think it's very well executed. Really, really well done. Lots of work to do a picture like this. And real favourite of mine, this one.
Yeah, I think it's very clever. Yeah. The winner of the black and white, I think the black and white print winners. Obviously, it celebrates Ernie Brooks, and is the name of the award. And I think it's quite a hotly contested category. In part because, of course, Ernie and his legacy of being one of the pioneers of black and white imagery. And the winner this year was an image by Nicholas Remy of a pygmy seahorse in black and white. And for me, I think it's an interesting use of an image. The way obviously that he's used the strobe, I presume it's strobe light, to highlight the face and to shield the body produces quite an image effect. I have to say, I'm not 100% sure that I like it. It definitely catches my eye, but I'm not sure whether it's an effect I particularly like. And the other thing, of course, obviously we see lots of pictures of seahorses, particularly pygmy seahorses, but having the sort of I was going to say the courage, but maybe that's the wrong word, to convert it to black and white to be this image, I think shows quite an original thought process. As I say, I'm still not. I'm on the fence actually, but I think it's an interesting idea.
There's a few things I'd say. First of all, I think that within a black and white category, particularly in an underwater photography competition, creating an image that challenges in that way, tries to do something different, is a really good technique. It's a really good tactic for doing well.
Yeah.
And I like the image. I think it's got it's graphically strong. It's very eye catching. It's got that element of difference, which I think makes things stand out. I don't think it's a pygmy seahorse. I think it's a pot-bellied seahorse, a big-bellied seahorse from Australia, where Nicolas lives.
Right.
So, but I'm not. I've only got it small on my screen here. So, but I think it's a bigger seahorse. But I like the idea of it. I think seahorses are, because they have that very strong graphic shape, they always lend themselves, if photographed well, to being eye-catching images.
Yes. And
it can be difficult, though, to do anything really different with them. And I think this treatment in terms of lighting and processing is really good. And I think, the black and white category this year was really interesting because, it's no revelation to say that 2020, 2021 have hardly been classic dive travel years.
Yes.
And so a lot of photographers wanting to do well in competitions are having to maybe dive the archives as much as they are dive the sea. Yeah. And they're looking for new pictures. And I think a lot of people have thought, oh, that one could work in black and white, this one could work in black and white, and finding images that way. So that, there's a lot of people, finding interesting images. And I suspect this picture was never shot to be a black and white, but perhaps, through the time of lockdown, suddenly Nicolas, realized, oh, that might have some legs in that regard.
It definitely catches my eye. I'm not sure about it, and I think that's probably that's probably a good place to be, really, isn't it? Particularly for a competition winner. Yeah, sure.
So what's next?
The portrait category, and we have Pietro Cremone's picture of a backlit Rhinopias, and it's again, I think possibly it's a very eye-catching image, isn't it? It's Rhinopias are very kind of otherworldly looking, and he's really got that kind of character coming out in sackfuls by this harsh backlighting, or this hard backlighting.
And I think a good solution, because obviously Rhinopias tend to live in fairly messy places.
Yeah.
In terms of they live on the seabed. The seabed is rarely clean sand. It's usually rubbly reef and that sort of thing. Yeah. And I think this photographic approach with a single snooted strobe from slightly from the top of them back, I think reveals the translucent nature of these fish, which you do get. And I think all those aspects are very strong. I think the red on black really, really works for me. I think my critique of this is that I don't think it's the optimum of this idea, opportunity. The composition is not particularly special. The pose is not particularly special. Everything else is very special. But I feel that there was probably something even better in this opportunity for Pietro. But I'm really pleased for Pietro to win this very important category. But I feel there was potentially something even stronger in this opportunity. Just maybe a vertical framing, a bit more of the face, a little bit more connection with the subject. There's a lot of black around it that perhaps a different composition you could have had more face and less black.
Yes, I think you're right. I mean, it's quite small in the frame, really, given the size of the frame around it. And last from our sort of our selection of these images, and we should stress, it's very much a selection. We have a limited amount of time for these, so we could keep going all day. But it is our friend Tobias Friedrich's winner of the Color Print Award, and it's the Valerie Taylor Award, and this is a picture of a diver with presumably some video lights down beneath an iceberg. I think Toby probably shot it in Greenland. I know he's been diving up there.
It's a picture that I know from being awarded in other contests.
Yeah.
It is a nature of, particularly of the time we're living in at the moment, that photographers haven't got the chance necessarily to get new material. So there's there are similar shots from previous competitions or the same shots being tried again in other competitions, which is fair enough. Yep. I think it's very, very eye-catching. I note though that this was a color print category, so I presume that meant the photographers actually have to send physical prints in.
Yeah.
So that is different. When I've seen it in other competitions, it's been the digital version of the file that's been judged, and I think that this probably looks spectacular if printed well. Yeah, if you can get that luminous quality of the ice coming through on the paper. It could look really stunning as a print, probably on a metallic paper in particular.
You can imagine big, can't you? Big on a wall would look, fantastic. Yeah.
And I suspect Valerie, had them in front of her and was able to judge them physically, which is, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a very cool picture, and I think you've highlighted exactly. It's certainly a picture that I would put on my wall. I think, and it's it's stunning.
Because I think from a distance it would feel abstract, and then as you go closer, you're thinking, what is it? And then you see that dark area at the bottom is actually a person, and then suddenly the scale of the image reveals itself to you. So it would be a very good, end of the corridor type print, where you kind of like, oh, those are interesting colors and patterns and shapes, and then as you get closer, you're like, wow, that's ice, and there's a person there, and oh my goodness.
Yeah. It's lovely. Yeah. So that's our kind of galloping edited highlights of the Ocean Geographic Awards 2021.
I've checked out by just typing Ocean Space Geographic into Google and then finding their main website and then going to the pictures of the year, which I guess is the best way to find them.
It is. I'll put a link into the description as well. I think that's probably easy. And sometimes these are not the easiest things to find just by googling. There's quite a few sort of ocean and geographic type names around. It's easy to get sidetracked. So I'll put a link into the description. But yeah, I mean, it's just to say, they are a really strong body of work, and congratulations to everybody in there. Certainly, I enjoyed looking at them. So thanks very much, Alex.
No problem at all.
And thanks again to Aquatica for sponsoring this episode. We really appreciate the support. Thank you to you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please feel free to drop us a like if you did. Add any comments or suggestions in the comments box. And I hope to see you again soon.